How are you? My name is Pawan Kumar and today we are going to begin a poem of class 7th. Before we start, let me show you the book. That is your book, Treasure of English. This is the poem name is The Alien. I'm going to show you that it belongs to Unit 3, Fantasy, Fiction and Wonder, and that is number 3. So this is chapter number 3, The Alien poem, and written by Richard Macwilliam. Dear students, I would like to ask you first of all, what picture comes in your mind when you hear the word alien? You had seen some movies, alien, related to a very strange figure in the form of human or I think non-human, and they look like some insects, some differently appearance is there, more than 2-3 legs always, different eyes, sometimes 2 eyes, 3 eyes. I mean, we even don't know because nobody has seen alien, and it's all imagination in the movies when we see any picture, any figure of the alien, because all are the result of our fiction, our imagination. The poet Richard Macwilliam is not a poet, he is an author of short stories, and his short stories are very famous, related to humorous content, and he has deeply understood the child psychology, and here in this poem we will learn the child psychology when children or a child will see an alien. And this poem belongs to the environment of a school and a teacher. There is a teacher, there are teachers and there are students. Now what happens when they see some alien? Now I'm going to read first 9 lines, then I will explain them, and then we'll talk about poetic devices in this. So I'm going to read it. You please have a look at the poem on the board, or you can open the book. The page number is 63. Now it's written as it is. What would you do if an alien landed in the playground? ? Would you stand there shouting, teacher, teacher, please sir, please miss, there is this great big thing with wobbly eyes and 6 pink legs, sir? Or would you stand still and stare and maybe poke at it a bit with sticks and throw a ball in its mouth, or perhaps push Shorty or Fatso or Snotty forwards to see if they got eaten? I've read it out. If you can see on the board, I have given them numberings, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Why I have written these numbers for the lines? So that when I explain, you can directly go to that line for that point I'm going to explain. Alright, so now let's begin. Now what happens? The poet has thrown a question at the reader. I'm the reader, you are the reader, and the question is, what would you do if an alien landed in the playground? Now, what would you do? Think about it. If you see an alien landed means with that UFO, which we call that as unidentified spacecraft. Now if you see that spacecraft landed, we don't have that word, but alien landed, and how alien we have seen they when they land in their aircraft or in their spacecraft. So what would you do? Means what would be your course of action when you have seen that the alien has come in the playground, landed in the playground? Would you stand there shouting, teacher, teacher? So what would you do? Because when we see alien, the first action is nothing. We simply keep watching. We keep watching what that thing is, because we try to observe or we are frightened. So will it happen with you that you would stand there and you would shout, teacher, teacher? So in the school, who would you call? You would call teacher. So would you stand there and shout loudly, teacher, teacher? Please sir, please miss. You will see that only in the schools you will see teachers, male and female. So would you call your teachers, please miss, please sir? Fourth line. There is this great big thing with wobbly eyes and 6 pink legs, sir. Now, when we imagine any animal like that, alien, where it's not human, it's not animal. We don't know because nobody knows about it. We have never seen any alien. But the imagined picture is with 6 legs of it. And the color is pink as per the poet. And eyes are wobbly. Wobbly means unsteady. Means it's not written these are 2 eyes or 3 eyes. Eyes are unsteady. And great big thing. I mean the size is very big. There is this great big thing with wobbly eyes and 6 pink legs, sir. Means would you do that? Would you shout, teacher, teacher? Would you call the teacher? Or would you say like that there is big thing, wobbly eyes, 6 pink legs, sir? Number 5 line. Or would you stand still and stare? Or what otherwise you could do? If you are not shouting, then maybe you are standing without movement. You are frozen. Without any movement, you are frozen. And stare. Stare means you will glare. You will look continuously at that thing. This is what would you do? And maybe poke at it. Poke. What do you mean by poke? When you push somebody with a stick, when you push with your hand, poke. And maybe, possibly, if you're not shouting, if you're not staring, what would you do? Maybe poke at it a bit with sticks. So you find sticks from the playground and you pick up those sticks and you poke at that alien. This is what would you do? See, child psychology. The poet has understood the child psychology and tried to explain this in the way a child will think. Next line. And throw a ball in its mouth. Now what other object you might have with you in the playground? The ball. You play with the ball. So if you don't find a stick, sometimes you have the ball in your hand. Or so would you throw the ball in its mouth? Throw a ball in its mouth. Or perhaps, possibly, probably, push. Again you will push what? Shorty or fatso or snotty forwards. Dear students, when you are in the playground, how do you play? You are surrounded, by other students. Sometimes students are fat, some are short in height, and some students are snotty, or you can call that characteristic, thinking himself better, important than others. Snotty means when somebody thinks himself more important, more valuable than others, that being snotty. Now, what is that other action you would do? Push shorty or fatso or snotty forwards? Means would you push your friend, push the person around you, either that person is shorty, fatso or snotty? Would you do that? Would you push somebody like that forward to see if they got eaten? Now what we know, what do you know about aliens do with the human beings? Do they eat? We don't know, but this is all about our fantasy. That, do you think, would you throw somebody just to see that if they got eaten, means will that alien eat them? Dear students, these are first 9 lines explanation. Why I have written numberings first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, just to teach you about poetic devices. Now please look here, you will see that first of all this poem is written in free verse. What do you mean by free verse? There is no rhyme scheme. There is no rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme, you know, you have read many poems in which the last word at the end of every line rhymes with the second, third with the fourth. That is called rhyme scheme. Same sounding word, that's rhyme scheme. But do you see same sounding word at the end? No. So this is called as free verse. So written in free verse, number 1. But if we look at poetic devices, what are poetic devices, dear students? If you remember, some technical or decorative features of a poem which you see in the form of alliteration, repetition, anaphora. I'm telling you, people speak them wrongly. It's alliteration, repetition, anaphora. It's anaphora. Now, where do we have these and what is the meaning of these poetic devices? Let's learn about it. Number 1, alliteration. I have marked 2nd, 5th and 8th line. So go to 2nd, 5th and 8th line. Alliteration, this is 2nd line. I have underlined S stand shouting. Dear students, every time you have a repeated consonant in one line, here see S stand shouting, S is alliteration. Same goes in 5th line. Go to 5th line. 5th line is here. What do you have here? See, again you have repetition of stand and still, sir. Dear students, when you have to write any poetic device, and suppose if that is alliteration, you have to write the line in the answer in your question when you write in exam or in your book, and you have to write that sound, that consonant which has been repeated. So here you can write like that in 2nd line, sir, S has been repeated. In 5th line, S has been repeated. Same goes in 8th line. See here, shorty, snotty. Again, S has been repeated. So what do you call this? What do you call this? Do you call this alliteration? Alliteration is the poetic device in 2nd, 5th and 8th line. I hope you have understood. Let's move on. Repetition. What is repetition? Difference between alliteration and repetition. Alliteration is the sound, right? Sound. Repetition is the word. The word in the same line is repeated. See, 2nd and 8th line. 2nd line is this. See, in 2nd line, teacher word has been repeated, okay, 2 times. It is there. So it is repetition. Teacher, teacher. 8th line, go to 8th line here. Or 3 times. What we see, or has been used 3 times, and this is known as repetition. Which poetic device is this? Repetition. My dear students, if you learn these poetic devices like that, you can find these poetic devices if you read any other poem. All right. Last is C, anaphora. It's not called or spoken as anaphora, it's anaphora, and it is in 6th and 7th line. Now you will ask, what is anaphora? Anaphora is when in consecutive line, means line after line, you see word repeated here in 6th and 7th. This is 6th and 7th line. What do you see? And word in the beginning has been repeated. Remember, only in the beginning the word should be repeated, first line, second line, third line, or any other lines, but they should be one after another. So in 6th and 7th, these two words and was repeated, were repeated. So this is called anaphora. Now this is all about in this video from the poem The Alien, written by Richard Macwilliam. First 9 lines have been explained with meanings, plus poetic devices have been given to you, have been discussed with you. If you have understood, that's great. You can go on with the next video for this. Till then, bye bye, stay tuned.